Are you a hugger? Are you like this touchy-feely, gotta wrap my arms around everybody guy? Or are you like, stay away from me? Tune into this episode of Mad Talk. You're going to enjoy it. All right, so here's my question. Are you a hugger?
I have a tendency to be affectionate.
Okay, to everybody?
No,
that type of guy?
Yeah, there's certain things, especially with, I hug you.
Yeah.
But we're good.
Every day. No.
We're good. I hug my wife, hug my kids, and there might be some people in my life that it might be a female that I'm closer. I know that relationship is good. I would give them a hug, but I'm not going to go up and hug on everybody that I see. Yeah.
Right. So here's my question. What do you do with this text? Okay. We're going to go next level.
Okay.
1 Thessalonians 5:26. Greet all the brothers with a holy kiss. Like, do you go around kissing all the brothers?
I'm not a kisser. Yeah.
This is a holy kiss. Here you go.
I come from my mom's side of the family. They kiss right on the lips, man.
Oh, yeah. What is that? My family, they're big kissers.
I don't understand it. And they're German, too. And so
you don't think German people kiss?
No, and so I turn my cheek, and my mom likes to kiss straight on, and
right.
And my aunt Berta, she's
Aunt Berta's a kisser, right on the lips.
But there's some cultures that's what they do, right?
True, and they're like heat seekers, man. They're coming in, and I'm doing this. I mean, I'm all over, and they're like, oh yeah,
I'm gonna plant one on you, whether you like it or not.
Correct,
right?
And you're getting it, and that's kind of interesting. But you're right. In certain cultures, it is true. There are. A lot of Latino cultures, the Latino culture, but
and it might even be offensive if you don't allow them to kiss you on the cheek or yeah.
And it's interesting too. Should it be just like a when in Rome type thing, like when you're in Spain or whatever, you just say,
yeah, I don't kiss, and I kiss my wife. That's
you're more of a hey, don't want to do that. Well, I think it's interesting how there's these. Sometimes there's misunderstandings too.
Yeah, but I get it. Greet everybody with a holy kiss. You're kissing on the cheek. It's a greeting. You and I, we will fist bump. If we agree on it, we shake hands.
Or the bro hug.
Yeah, right. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And or just an affectionate thing that you can do is you just pat somebody on the back because this is. Is actually a little more affectionate than that.
Sure.
And so there's ways to show that at different levels.
And now with COVID, everything's kind of nobody does anything.
Yeah, I don't do this. I have
you kick with your foot.
Yeah, we tap feet.
I think sometimes though because we don't communicate, we'll do things that are super awkward and then end up.
Right.
Not liking it. I remember I know somebody who. He kissed his son like on the lips. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, what? I mean, it's just, and it's not like the kid's like 6. I mean, he's, he was in his, I don't know, 30s or 40s. And they're like, hey, good to see you.
That crosses the line.
I don't know. Like, I don't, everyone's different, but I'm like, whoa, dude, what is that? So I didn't say anything at first. And then after a while, I couldn't, I'm so curious. I'm like, why do you kiss your son on the lips? And he's like, well, he just started doing it. And at first I was
the
like,
son started doing it.
Yeah, he said his son started kissing me on the lips. And at first I'm like, what are you doing? But then I thought, well, he's my son. It's not a big deal. And if he wants to kiss me on the lips, not a big deal. And I'm like, really?
He's a good dad, right there.
Yeah, what a great dad. Like I didn't go home and kiss my dad on the lips. I'm like, whatever. So anyway, as the story goes, this is the funny part of the story is after a while, like I'm talking to the son, I'm like, dude, what made you start kissing your dad on the lips? And he goes, well, one day my dad started kissing me on the lips. I'm
no
like,
way.
What? You think that your dad started it? And this is where I probably could have gotten in trouble, but I was like, dude, your dad did not start it. He thinks you started it. He's like, I didn't start it. I'm like, you guys should talk.
Oh, that is a classic
And so
story.
they're everyone's laughing, so he with both sides, and then they talk. And then they don't know how it started, but as soon as they found out that they both didn't want to really do that, they're like, "Yeah, we're done kissing on the lips now."
That is one of the funniest stories I've ever heard in my entire life.
So, but anyway, what's interesting is like I think culturally, what'll happen is we'll do stuff, we'll allow stuff or whatever, and then we're like, oh, it's not a big deal, but then we're not comfortable with it. But I think it's important to communicate.
It is, and so with guys, it's one thing. There is some limits. There's some definite guards that men should have when touching a female, whether it's a teenager, whether it's a little girl, or whether it's an adult, or whatever it might be.
How about this? My wife, when she was pregnant, people would come up and just start rubbing her belly.
Yeah, it's just
strangers.
Right. It's just,
like, how crazy is that?
It just gives them what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, she literally would go, this isn't cool, I don't like this. And so she would, when we would come to certain spaces, I would have to run interference, like, oh, here comes a rubber,
Right, yeah, right.
So I'd get in front, hey, how's it good? And so, and that was male or female. She wasn't down with that. She didn't like
right.
that.
And so, there were some guys, just very affectionate guys they're coming in for the hug. They're coming in for the hug first.
For a female, yeah.
Yeah, and
belt to belt. Like I'm not pro belt to belt with someone who's not my wife, and then holding on or rubbing the back.
Right.
It's like, what are you doing? This isn't a massage parlor. Get up.
Exactly right. And so some of these guys, I give them a benefit of the doubt. They come up and we'll give their hug first, but then they can make the females feel pretty uncomfortable from the pat or just holding on just a little bit too long. And so I don't know. But
so here's what I think. I think you should clearly have identified or defined the relationship, and both sides should be like clearly in the know before you initiate physical contact.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you and I, we've been friends for years. And so, totally understand that. And so if when we see each other our wives, we hug each other and we, it's not belt to belt. It's not like giving them it's like an A-frame.
It's a holy kiss, right? It's a holy hug, right? It's greet each other with a friend hug or whatever you might want to say.
Yeah. So it's like, either A-frame or, the side hug, whatever. And
have you ever done the Adventist dance with the hugger?
What's that?
It's when you come to me to give me a hug, and I want to do the side hug.
Yeah.
So you just kind of swing around.
Yeah. And then they come around.
Yeah, they come around, so you just got to kind of keep swinging.
They do the Adventist two-step. Yeah, nice. I don't even think that's an Adventist thing. That's a church thing.
That's a church thing. But it's important for us to be aware of that, to not have inappropriate touch.
I agree, because we don't want people to go, ooh, that guy's a predator or a weird or. I really do think sometimes people get a pass because of cultural reasons. They might say, well, that's in their culture. But you also need to understand the culture you're in too. So I think it's a big deal to really make sure that you've defined the relationship before you go in.
Absolutely. And then, having pure of thoughts, pure motives, and all those type of things. And it kind of goes along with our text. What you read is we kind of read it out of context a little bit. So in context, 1 Thessalonians 5. Now may the God of peace himself sanctify you completely, and may your whole spirit and soul and body be kept blameless in the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Then he says, brothers, pray for us. Greet all brothers with a holy kiss. And
okay, so, it's a little different context.
Yeah, right. So it just says, hey, there's nothing between us. Let's greet each other. That's kind of how we do it with
right. So you're saying back in the day we might have kissed Paul, but now we would fist bump
him, or we may have hugged him. We may have hugged,
And I, again, specifically as this is being recorded and we're in this time of COVID where we mask up and we have social distancing, that as well is maybe the physical touch is a wave.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Exactly.
But I think what you're acknowledging with physical touch is, hey, I care about you. Hey, we're together. Like when I hold my wife's hand, or maybe you hold your wife's hand in public, you're saying we're together. And so I think that physical touch is appropriate, but you need to make sure that it's going to be received well. Right. Otherwise, it's going to be bad.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, what's our challenge for this week?
Yeah, don't touch anyone. That's your challenge. No. The challenge is, and again, I really think this is important, is figure out how you can physically touch someone, either metaphorically by helping them or letting them know, hey, I'm here, I care, we're together. And that might be a handshake. It might be an appropriate hug, but I really try to contact someone this week to let them know that hey, I'm with you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Very good. That's Man Talk for today, where we have three things: love God,
love everybody,
and duct tape.
It fixes
everything.
Everything.
Yes. See you guys.
Bye.